usually, and kind of off axis. So you're not going to speak directly into it anyway. But it could fit anywhere in that space, and you should try those kind of four corners and somewhere in the middle. And, the reason why it might sound a little bit different on the left or the right kind of goes back to the environment. Because if you actually have something different going on the left side than you have on the right side, which of course in a professional recording studio, it's probably going to be a little bit more symmetrical. In your own home studio, it could be much more haphazard. So, try anywhere inside that strike zone, so to speak, and the placement, will definitely alter the sound.
Yeah, and one thing to consider, and particularly probably this was relevant to Emmett, your example a minute ago, is the proximity effect. If you get closer generally to a mic in pretty much any pickup pattern with the exception of Omni, you will get a low boost if you get closer, and you'll lose that low end the further away from it. So you can almost EQ yourself in real time. The other thing is plosives and avoiding blowing out the mic. So what are they, and how can we avoid them?
Sure. So I'll answer first. Plosives, that popping, thumping sound. Maybe you got some there.
Yeah.
That we want to avoid that for sure. It's, a pain to have to edit that out all the time, and it's just not something it's just not good mic technique to have that happen. Now, obviously, voice actors, we use the microphone so many different ways. We might want to get up closer, and we might need to be further away based on our volume, and what it is that we're delivering. So we can be prone to plosives in all those situations. But good mic technique, first of all, regardless of the situation, certainly does help with that.
Really, really solid performer. On the other end of the spectrum, the MicTech MK300 is it's quite a head turner, and it's $299, I believe.
Oh wow! Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, just a terrible logo.
Yes, I can't argue that.
Yeah, I do like the Sennheiser MK4 a lot. I've compared it right up against a 416 and a TLM 103, and it's very similarly voiced to those. It's certainly a little bit more open sounding than the 416, for instance. I think that I haven't heard a newer model one, but the Studio Projects C1. It's a little bright on some people and in some situations, but I've heard it sound really good in certain environments, in really well treated environments. So that was just another one that kind of pops to the top of my head that I like a lot.
Yeah, and I'm just going to throw in the Aston Origin. I've been using it recently, and I really like it. It's doesn't have a huge low end response, but I just love the clarity that it brings, and built like a tank. So I can't remember how much they are, 350-ish, something like that.
Looks like a tank too.
Yeah, it does. It's not the prettiest mic in the world, but I really like it. So let's see. Okay, so our next question is from Marisa Blake, who was our guest on last week's episode. And this is a proper geek question, and I know Emmett's just going to be chomping at the bit to answer this one. Why do some people mount their microphones right side up and others upside down?
I saw that question earlier, and you're right, I have been waiting for it.
Yeah, I knew you would be.
There are three good reasons for your mic to be upside down. One of them doesn't really apply anymore, but it's sort of where this trend started. Tube mics, with that tube getting hot, when you would orient them with the diaphragm on top, the heat would rise, and the tube heat would over time just sort of cook that diaphragm.